So on July 4th, 2005, my mother passed away at the age of 41. She was really young, and I didn't realize at the time how much it would affect me later on, especially as I started getting closer to that age. But now I'm getting close to, I'm in my almost late 30s now, and I'm getting really close to that age, and it kind of has sparked something new in me over the past few years. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and why, if you're going through loss, maybe you're going through a hard time, why something like that should give you hope for the future. All right, so I'm trying to be a little bit more relaxed in some of these videos. I got a little riled up in the past, so I wanted to have a little bit of fun and to do something a little bit more relaxing for videos like this, where I'm just kind of talking about random things. There's a couple of different reasons I want to make this video, and the first one really has to do with there's some stuff I wanted to share recently, some different videos that I'd started or I'd worked on, bits and pieces that I wanted to kind of share. So I'm going to be sharing those throughout this, as part of this whole process, right? So the second big reason that I wanted to share this, other than showing off my books, was because I'm getting older, and the reason why writing these books and sharing this stuff is so important to me is because it's kind of my way of leaving a mark and helping people in a way that, or trying to help people at least in a way that works for me, because everybody has their own way of doing things. And I've had people in the past tell me, well, you should volunteer, you should do this, you should do that. And not everybody is cut out for the same kind of thing. I have volunteered and I have done things. I was in the military. I have gone out of my way to do some good things for other people. And now that I'm a little bit older, now that I'm in a position where I can do stuff like this, I can reach a much wider audience potentially. And I love to talk, and I love to share stories, and I love to. That's part of the reason why I became a writer. I love to share the stories that I've got, and that's my way of doing it. And so when I talk about things like my mother passing away, that's something that I've mentioned off and on on this channel. And if you go back a couple of years, I even did a video where I talked really in depth about it, as far as how it affected me around the holidays and grief and that kind of thing. But what I want to focus on today is kind of the looking forward type of thing. So, with the pandemic in 2020 and the global lockdown and all the stuff that was going on then, a lot of people got really irritated and agitated with being locked down. I didn't mind that. I am an introvert. So, being locked down at home and having a reason where it was socially acceptable, that was cool as hell for me. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind working from home or any of that kind of stuff. But what did bother me was seeing the images on television of the people that were dying daily from this illness, and the people that were in there talking about in hospital rooms where they were locked down. Their families couldn't get to them. Their families were not allowed to come close to them because they were sick, and they died all alone. And hearing the stories of people, children losing parents and spouses losing each other, and it was heartbreaking. And it kind of kickstarted in me something that I'd thought about a little bit since I was 19 when my mom passed away. And it was something that it never really hit me that she was only 41, right? Until around that time, and I started to realize I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm only a few years away from being as old as she was when she died. And what have I done with my life? How have I set myself up for success or anything good in the future? And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I need to make some changes. I need to do some things rather than looking at this I could have looked at it as a bad thing. I could have said, oh my God, I'm going to be 41 and this is ridiculous. Oh, well, this is terrible. What I decided to do instead was look at it from the perspective of, hey, I'm going to be 41. I need to make some positive changes in my life, because who knows how many years I might have. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll live into my 80s or 90s and be healthy and have good things happen. But statistically, I'm more likely to die in my 70s or earlier. And especially when I look at, my mom, not only did she die at 41, but my grandpa on her side, he died at 49. Now, he was murdered, so that was a little bit different. But this is the idea is still there of like how much time do I have left? And couple that with, you know, a lot of guys go through midlife crisis. I don't know why guys do it more often than women, but I would speculate it's probably because guys tend to think that they're invincible more often than women, I think. But guys go through midlife crisis and typically around their 40s. I'm not anything as extreme as going out and like buying a sports car and dating a supermodel type of thing. But I, I've thought about it from the standpoint of what can I do? How can I become better? Because for a lot of years, I kind of felt aimless. I kind of felt I'm just kind of doing things and going through the motions, living day to day. And so, one of the first things I decided to do was quit smoking. And that was a pain in the ass. I do highly recommend it, but it's difficult. I quit cold turkey after about 13 years, and that was hard. But I managed to push through it, and I willed myself to actually quit and get through the whole thing, right? So that was one of the first things I did. And then I got laid off. So, kind of a negative point, but I turned it into a positive point. I'm lucky enough to have a wife that was there to work side by side with me to kind of figure out what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do things. So after that, I started working on YouTube stuff and photography. I wanted to start my own business, and I was like, you know, I really want to do something different, kind of make the second half of my life a little bit, have a little bit more control over it, you know, because the first half of my life was basically I was at the mercy of everybody else. Maybe I should do something different and see if I can make it work. So that's what I've been doing the past couple of years. And then I got into writing, and I was like, you know, I want to share the stories that I've got. I've got all of these ideas for things that I think would be great stories, and I want to share those with the world. So then I started writing. And all of that was like all great stuff. But then I've also had the wake up calls of things like last summer when I was in the hospital, and I was there for 3 days after getting bitten by a spider, which I still have the mark on the back of my leg down here. It's still there. So it'll probably be there for the rest of my life. But during that time, I also found out that I suffer from high blood pressure, which terrible, terrible thing to have to deal with because it causes headaches, it causes drowsiness, like all kinds of issues. My blood pressure is all over the place, right? So I found out all of that, and it was like, oh my God, there's just constantly things happening. And the next big change that I decided to make actually happened quite recently when I decided, you know, I have the last time that I did any kind of solid workout routine was when I was in the military, when I was on active duty. We were working out 5 days a week and doing everything, you know, all of this stuff, PT tests every 6 months or whatever. So we had all this stuff to do. And so I was working out constantly, and then I stopped doing that, right? Funny enough, I have a particular, I think there's like a size that my body just happens to be wanting to be, you know. So when I was in basic training, I dropped down to, I was about 220 pounds when went into basic training. When I got out of basic training, I was about 185. And the same thing kind of happened when I was in Iraq. I dropped down from about 200 to about 179, which is where the military said I should be based on my height, right? Because that's all they look at is the height. But that was never right for me. So what I had to do is figure out what's right for me. Well, I figured about 210 or so is about where I should be. And then I went to the doctor last November, and I was at 242. I was like, oh my God. Okay, this is getting out of control. So the next major change I made was I need to start a workout routine. I need to start doing something for myself. I've quit smoking. I need to get on a better track. I need to eat a little bit healthier and, you know, start working out on a regular basis. So I cut out pop. I cut out, for the most part, I tried to cut out a lot of like sugar type of stuff. I cut down on portion sizes on a lot of things. So I've been trying to actively work on that kind of stuff. And I got an exercise bike. So I've been able to work out on a daily basis. And ever since then, I've gone down to, I think I weighed myself yesterday. I was at 233. So, you know, I'm losing weight. So I'm positive about that. That's a good thing. And not only that, my blood pressure, as I've been paying attention to, ever since last year when I was in the hospital, and even when I went to the doctors, my blood pressure was super high. I'm talking it was 167, 170 over like 120, which is insane. You should not have blood pressure that high. They put me on blood pressure medicine, which I've been taking. Even with that, I was in the 130 range. Uh, Finally, though, since I started working out, I'm down to the mid 110s. So I'm seeing all of these positive health changes, all these things I've been working on because I've used this thing of, the fact that my mom passed away so young and the fact that I'm getting to that age as kind of a hopeful thing. And not only that, I've tried to change. I've tried to be a better person overall. I've tried to be, a better husband, a better father, a better friend. All of these things that I truly believe are super important that I've been focused on and trying to do. And, the whole idea of this video and why I wanted to make this video and kind of talk about this stuff was because I wanted to talk about how that is an important thing when you go through a hard time, when you go through a loss, when you go through whatever it happens to be, you have to let yourself grieve, but then find a way to bounce back. Because no matter how big the loss is, no matter how important that person might have been to you, there is always a silver lining. There's always a beacon of hope. And it can be hard to see at times. And it's something where you almost have to be able to sit back and you have to realize that, what, there are good things I can do in the world. There are positives that I can take away from this and focus on those things, because if you do that, if you try to become a better person, you try to live for whatever that person would have wanted. My mom would not have wanted me to give up at when I started getting up into my 30s and 40s. She would have wanted me to be taking life by the reins and just running with it. And I look around and I look at my siblings, I look at the people. My family's not the same as it was, right? Things have changed a lot, and it's been almost 20 years since she died. And I look at myself and I look at my siblings and I look at my family and I'm like, okay, a lot of people after that time seem to have taken a really bad course, including me. And I need to correct that on myself. I can't correct that for everybody else, but I can see the contrast between me and other people that I know and where they're at in their lives and how they've maybe given up, or maybe they gave up for such a long time that it's hard to get back in it. And so for me, it's important to kind of focus on that and not give up and push forward and really, really, trying to think of the right way to say it. Like, really, really get out there, put yourself out there and try new things and become a better person. Find where your flaws are. Be willing to say, I'm not great in this position. I need to work on this. I need to work on that. I think that's super important. And not enough people do that, I think even if you haven't gone through a loss, I think too many people like to think of themselves as like infallible. Oh, I don't have any flaws. Or they'll say, oh, yeah, I know I'm flawed, but they don't actually ever recognize where their flaws are. Recognizing where your flaws are and making an effort, a conscious effort to change those things and get better at those things, I think is super important. So that was kind of the idea and the point behind this video, and trying to something a little bit different with some coffee. You know, Trying to enjoy myself and have a little more relaxed thing. And with the books, I wanted to show the books off. Spend a few minutes at the end of the video here talking about some news and things like that, because if you've been around this long, I'm assuming that you've enjoyed the video. I'm assuming that you're here and that you have subscribed and hit the like button. So maybe you'd be interested in hearing a little bit about some of the stuff I've got coming up with the books and stuff, because GPS Signal Lost is coming out. And you'll notice I'm still waiting. I've got the not for resale. These are the proof copies of these two books because I'm still waiting on inventory to arrive. I ordered it. Amazon is supposed to print it and ship it out. It's supposed to be here sometime in the next 3 days. They're usually quick. When it prints, it's usually like the next day or the day after. So I'm just waiting to hear back from Amazon about printing. But I've got a couple other big things coming up, kind of announcements in a way. As far as I'm trying some new stuff for selling the books, and I'm opening a kind of new business in a way, because online Selling stuff online is a nightmare. Uh, getting people to click on a link to go places to buy things, it's a pain in the ass. I'm gonna be honest. So I've kind of given up a little bit. Not given up. I'm still making videos and stuff like that. But as far as trying actively to make it a sale, something where I can sell my books and stuff like that, it's not working. So what I'm doing instead is, while you can still buy my stuff through the links in the description below, I'm gonna be opening up a shop, and I'm gonna be going. My wife and I are doing a traveling shop type of thing, where we're going to be opening up, and we've got banners and all kinds of stuff ordered on the way. We're gonna be making some candles because she's been wanting to make candles for years. She had tried a couple years ago, and we just had never got it off the ground. So we've got a whole plan together. I've got it all set up and figured out. So we're going to be making candles. Those are going to be available on the website as well. So we're going to have candles on the website. We're going to have books on the website. Basically, the way that I've got it set up, because I'm using Wix, which not sponsored, but would happily take a sponsorship someday, because I've been using Wix for years for my website, and basically they've got a whole setup where I can sell things online, but I've also got a point of sale, mobile point of sale. You can buy point of sale hardware, but that's just expensive, and I ain't got the money for that right now. But they've got a point of sale system, so essentially I can have the same stuff on my website and in a mobile store. So we're going to be going out to places like flea markets and fairs and festivals and that kind of stuff, and actively like setting up a booth and actually selling books and candles and other products that we're working on. We're trying to get a good product line together. We've got the postcards still. The 2023 or 2024 2023 collection. Last year's collection of postcards just went on sale on the website. They are limited edition. Only so many that are ever going to be available. So you can go check those out if that's something you're interested in. And you can pick up the entire collection if you didn't get any last year. I was giving them away on Patreon, so I was sending them out every month to Patreon or to patrons, but it got too expensive. So realistically, I can't. I have to look at this as a business in a lot of ways, because this is my full time job, because this is what I'm looking at as a form of income. So what I have to do is look at it from a realistic standpoint of, am I bringing in enough to justify the cost? And with the postcards, I wasn't. If someday I get to the point where I've got a lot of people sign up for Patreon, go sign up for Patreon. But if we get to that point where I've got enough people signed up for Patreon, uh, maybe I'll go back to giving them out annually. It's still going to be something, I think, depending on how well the collections sell. If I sell out of the collections that I have, what I'll probably do near the end of this year is put together a 2024 collection to be sold next year. But we're going to see how things go. I'm also going to be putting up some photographs. A lot of the stuff's going to be like in person sales. I'll be selling at locations, so there'll be particular photos that I've taken that are framed up. I might sell a couple exclusively through the website. We'll see. I don't know how that's going to go yet. Realistically, it boils down to getting people like in the door to buy things, right? Number one thing I have to do on here moving forward is I have to focus on what's best for my business, what I have to do, because at the end of the day, I need to be selling stuff. I need to be getting out there. I need to be talking to people. I've got all of this stuff that I've been working on for years that needs to have a conclusion that I need to push for. And unless I'm selling things, books, candles, photographs, postcards, that kind of stuff, unless I'm selling that kind of stuff, I can't justify long term continuing to do some of the stuff that I've been doing. So I have to find new ways to do things. I have to change some things. So basically, what I'm going to be doing in videos going forward is trying to be more relaxed like this, sit down and chat. I've got my other channel that I'm reading my books on. I'm starting with the journal. So I've got the journal on there right now. And I similar setup with the table, but I got the table in front of me. It's kind of cool. You should go check it out if you haven't already. But weekly, a new chapter of the journal is going to be coming out over there. Legends and Tales will be next, and then GPS Signal Lost. So all of those, I'll be reading those on that channel, and so I've got that going on. I'm trying some different things and moving some things around as we go through 2024, and just seeing how things work. And like I said, this whole shop thing, we're gonna see how it works. I'm hoping that it works out good. I've got a good feeling about it. I think that there's a lot of potential there. We went down and checked out the grounds that we're gonna be going to the flea market. So we got to talk to a couple of people down there. The one lady, she sells down there pretty much full time, and she was cool as hell. I don't remember what her name was. I'm not great with names, but I know exactly where she sells from, so I'll be definitely visiting her again. But I told her what I was doing and selling books and stuff. She goes, "Oh my god, that's so cool! We don't have any authors down here." Because a lot of people at flea markets are selling like used stuff. They'll go out to uh, garage sales and thrift stores and stuff like that and buy things really cheap and then go sell them for just a little bit of a profit, a little bit of a markup. So there's all of that stuff. And speaking of which, I'll be talking about some business stuff coming up too because I've learned some things. So I'll be talking about some business stuff if you're interested in starting a small business. Stay tuned for that information. But that's all I've got for now. I do want to thank you all for watching. Like I said, you can go check out the Patreon. You can check out GPS Signal Loss. You can pre-order it. It's coming out April 26th. So go check that out on Amazon or my website. The website has all the signed copies and all that cool stuff. That's all I got for now. I want to thank you all for watching. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Editor Josh here. So I forgot to throw in the videos that I was talking about earlier. I mentioned that I was going to show some videos from recent things and basically some geocaching stuff going out and some of the stuff that I've been doing as part of getting better, healthy, and that kind of stuff, and trying to get out more. So I'm going to show some of that stuff now here at the end of the video. So if you're interested in stick around and watch that stuff, that's great. And then, yeah, so check that stuff out and have a great rest of your day. So we got this old abandoned church that's broken down. You can see over there the piano is still sitting there. Not in the best of shape, but otherwise, well, it was probably a beautiful building at one point. Kind of torn down and no longer quite as beautiful as it used to be. Let's walk around. Watch for nails. So this is the outside. It collapsed in. My guess probably was a steeple or something here at one point. Of course, now there's just a mess of wood and glass, some blinds. I'm not sure when this church shut down, when they stopped using it, but there's a geocache nearby that we decided to grab, and that's how we found it.
This floor on this one isn't very sturdy. I was going to see what's in that, but it's not sturdy. It's wet and it's falling through.
Let me see.
Be careful.
There's not much to fall. Not much to fall to, actually. There's about a foot underneath it.
The roof fell down.
We can only look at it right now because it's winter. There's no bugs or anything. Technically, it's winter. That is a dog house.
Oh, it's a dog house?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Not sure why there's a dog house there.
I said be careful.
I am being careful. I'm always careful, especially around rusty metal that could cut my head off.
I think I see a basement.
No.
It's the ground.
It's the ground. I was bumping my head against that.
Be careful, there's a nail right there. Don't back up into it.
So, kind of a cool find, I think.
All right, look, there's the year, 1884.
When it was built? Oh, yeah. You can kind of see the plaque up there. 1884. Bethel Church. or no, Brethren Church, 1884. Interesting. Well, now we know the name of the church and when it was built. So here we have a place where apparently some slaves back in the day were freed and given this land. I don't know if, I think the cemetery was just on the land, but it was, so people were freed, given the land, and they actually wound up having to sell it in the 1970s for taxes, apparently. Interesting piece of history, but the cool part is this over here.
No.
The door is open. Levi was here. Or Louis was here? Oh, no.
There's a Bible on the ground.
Interesting place here.
Restrooms.
This is the second piano that we've seen someplace like this.
Oh, you should wear masks.
2 pianos.
Put your finger on your face. Someone has a diaper thing in here. Why do you put this over my face? I don't know. Taylor thinks you should have a mask on.
It's just moldy. You're fine. It's interesting. Interesting little spot here.
Nope, you said I need a mask. I got a mask.
I just wanted to kind of check it out. I thought it was kind of neat.
Careful with what's on your forehead.
Oh, that goes outside. Got the bathroom in here. Couple
Did
bathrooms.
someone use because there's poopy on it?
Yeah, well. This is a pretty cool find.
Someone went poopy all over it.
Yeah.
What's that back there?
Huh? Just another bathroom.
Oh, a boys and a girls bathroom?
Yeah. So this was a church at one point. So that's kind of cool. I think I might grab my camera out and get a picture of this piano here. The organ. We got an organ and a piano both. It's always cool to find these
I'm a preacher.
it's always cool to find these abandoned places. I'm going to be putting this on a video at some point, so like and subscribe. This will be on YouTube. And amongst another video, I'm planning a bigger video where I'm going to talk about some of these things, especially with geocaching, because that's how we found this place, was through geocaching. And stuff like this is interesting to find, but you got to be careful. Be careful where you're at, but also never disturb anything. Don't hurt anything. I'm on camera, right?
Yeah. God.
I've got the phone. I'm using my phone. I've got the camera facing away from me. So, but yeah. So I just wanted to kind of cover this, and I'm gonna get a couple pictures, I think, and then we're gonna move on. I think it's recording now.
Yep.
All right. So as I said earlier on the last video I took, which is actually a little bit ago. Am I off?
Your head was chopped.
Oh. I'm filming the wrong way. I should just have one of you hold it, but you wanna?
Do you want me to hold it?
Okay. So we're actually looking for a night cache out here now. We just got done. We just got parked. I was gonna say we were looking for Mothman. Technically, we kind of are, because that's the Mothman geocache. So that's what we're gonna be looking for, is finding this geocache. And I'm just gonna show some of the, you see the tags and stuff. I'm just gonna show that because I want to highlight. That's the whole point of this, is just show the geocache off, because I wanted to make more videos talking about this kind of stuff. So let's see what we can find.
There you go. Now it's recording.
Now it's recording.
Yeah.
So we just found the area. The thing is I was looking for night tacks. There's reflective tacks that you're supposed to find for night caches. So we were walking out here. We saw some along the trail, and I didn't think to record them, because I was like, I'll wait till we get to the GZ. There's no tacks. And they're supposed to be. We were looking for the fire tacks that were supposed to be, little red tacks that were supposed to be marking the trail here. Thankfully, the cache owner on this
You
one,
went dark. I think there's someone got in the way. There we go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Thankfully, the cache hunter on this one, though, did mark where to start looking. So we started looking, and we wound up finding it. I'm not going to spoil it because I will link these geocaches we got down in the description. So I don't want to spoil exactly where it's at, but we're in the general area here, down in the Mothman area. So we're going to sign the log, and then we're going to get back to heading back down because there's a couple more on the way down there. So this is the container. I'm trying to show it without screwing up the camera. It's just a little peanut butter container. And just a log inside. So we're gonna sign the log and then we'll go ahead and start moving back. We'll try this real quick. You can see I'm sweating. It's not even that hot out, and I'm sweating like crazy. But we got to get these frogs. We just got back to the car. We got a couple more. We got another night cache on the way back. I didn't want to film that, and then we got another cache. It wasn't supposed to be a night cache. It was muddy. It's been muddy and nasty out. Thankfully, it's not raining at the moment. But yeah, so I'll send it back to myself, and just make sure there's no Mothman behind me. I'll send it back to myself, and I'll do some outro or something. I don't know. All right, so we just finished grabbing those geocaches. Oh, these two frogs are. So we got some frogs over here. So I just want to get a little bit of video of them as we finish up geocaching here. Those two frogs right there are having fun.
Very.
They are. It's nature at its finest.
They're dead? They're having sex. Are they dead?
Ah, I got my foot wet.
Your son thought they were dead.
She's a little bit crazy.